Breaking news. Woj bomb. Paul George is signing his rights, his life, and everything over to the Philadelphia 76ers. Woj reports free agent Paul George has agreed on a 4-year, $212 million max contract with the Philadelphia 76ers, sources tell ESPN. George committed in a meeting with the Sixers officials and returns east to join Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey in pursuit of a title. Off top, what are y'all immediate reactions?
Yo, the Clippers suck, bro. That's my initial reaction. I love this franchise, bro. I love them to death. They told me that that Kawhi was going to be the new king of LA. They told me that Paul George was going to be the perfect complementary piece alongside him. And guess what? They just never played together. Now, that sounds Mickey. That sounds like a little hate take. And maybe it is because I'm a Lakers fan. But ultimately, it's a complete failure. I think even factoring every time they've been hurt, it's still a complete failure because they failed to compensate for the idea that Kawhi Leonard might just mysteriously go down several times. And then when they tried to do that this season, they got players that didn't really help anything that Kawhi is good at. You had Kawhi play the 5 damn near at some point in the season. And then for the most part, when he inevitably went down again, what did you have? 2 more guards? It just this team time in and time out every season. I feel like they've gotten this weird pass of like going into the season. Oh yeah, title contender. Oh yeah, world beaters. Kawhi's top 5. Whoop, whoop. Now the Kawhi top 5 thing has died down. I'm gonna be fair, but the Clippers as a whole, that standard has still remained every single season. I hate to do that ego shit, but like as the person that has niggas comment and tag them on this channel, I'm telling you, like every predictions video, oh, I think the Clippers can do it. I think the Clippers can do it. And they fall in short every single time. And we've never talked about it until today because they're done.
Damo, actually, let's start there since they just kicked it off. I just want to remind you of something. The infamous legend of winning graphic. SGA, Danilo. So many picks. I can't even really go through all of them. But this is what the Oklahoma City Thunder offloaded in order to get Paul George. And if I'm not mistaken, they have a Western Conference Finals appearance out of this, right? They have one Western Conference Finals appearance.
Yeah.
I believe so. But that was the best that they got out of this. So since we're here now, and we're starting off with the Clippers side, Damo, in hindsight, how do we feel about this specific trade and the Paul George experience?
I mean, so a small W for what the Clippers were trying to do in that time, I guess. I don't know. They wanted Kawhi, so they did everything it took to get them Kawhi, which they got. They wanted to compete with being the best team in LA and trying to do their best job winning. I'm not gonna lie. I think they got closer doing that with Paul George and Kawhi than they did with Lou Will, Montrezl Harrell, Pat Bev in the game. Like, yes, it's funny. I mean, everybody's dunking on the Clippers. Like, I don't want to be the next person that's just in the line of dunking on the Clippers. We all know it was a failure. It was a failure of an experiment. The guys didn't pan out. They kept trying to do extra to make it work, and it just doesn't work. So to see it end like this, as a Laker fan, is very fitting. It's very funny. It's very hilarious. But in all actuality and the reality of the situation, when you're looking from a business perspective, I mean, I feel like they made more money in the Paul George Kawhi era than they did in the non-Lob City, non-star player era. Like where they were versus where they are now, I feel like they're closer to where they wanted to be in terms of the business side. Obviously, in terms of winning, they're not there. They didn't do it. But hey, they sold tickets. They sold jerseys. They filled out that arena more times than not. Again, it looks bad on paper seeing all the picks. Y'all only maxed out of one Western Conference Finals. Guys kept getting hurt. They opened that new stadium, man. They got that new stadium built. They did everything off the court they wanted to do.
I think I share that sentiment, and it makes me bring up this picture. This picture was taken like this offseason. This offseason or the offseason before. These are the new uniforms. These are the ones that they're supposed to like. You see the new logo and everything down there. I'm no longer looking at this from a basketball perspective. This was 100% a marketing type thing. They wanted to get up underneath the Lakers. Steve Ballmer has talked about that 100% for the past couple of years. And ever since I sat down with that Forbes dude when it came to sports, I look at things totally different now. I look at things. It didn't matter if Kawhi played 45 games. That's just for us to care about as fans. It didn't matter if James Harden, stinks it up in the playoffs. That's for us to care about as fans. But from a business perspective, having the four LA guys, because we can't forget about Russ being in this mix, having the four LA guys be on a team at one point in time, have a podcast, talk good about LA, introduce a new arena, like all of that is so perfect for what they did. And what's funny, and we'll get to that at a different time. Right now, DeRozan is also disgruntled in Chicago. So one LA guy gone, another LA guy come in. Just if that's the sell, I don't even think it's necessarily the worst sell. But from a basketball playing perspective, yeah, it's disheartening. It is to see that you gave up all that future star SGA, which Doc Rivers saw. You can't forget Doc Rivers saw that. And to get a Western Conference Finals appearance out of some guys who just weren't really him, it's a terrible look. Terrible look.
It's a bad look. I had looking at those picks. My thing was, who did those picks turn into? I mean, one of them was J-Dub. Hey,
really?
There. Yeah, the 2022 pick, that was J-Dub, I want to say. So, hey, at first, when I seen the people, oh man, they gave up all those picks. Me, who was the picks really? Well, one of them was J-Dub. All right, well, you got me there. What was the 24 pick? I gotta go back in the draft and see who that was. But if he pans out, all right, well, you 2 for 2 on striking out on picks. It look bad. I ain't gonna lie to you. When these picks come in, that's what really make this look bad. SGA, seeing him as an MVP level player, I mean, of course, Doc's seen it. But other than that, no one else seen that. Like, that wasn't the real turning point of the trade when people first heard it. They wasn't really bugging about that unless you just seen it with SGA. J-Dub being the first pick, all right, crazy. Whoever the second pick was in this past draft, if he pans out, all right, now we're looking a little crazier. And then the further we go on with these picks, the crazier it will look. So that would be my sentiment with that one. The picks is what will make the Paul George trade look as bad as it does. I don't think it looks super crazy now because I don't know what OKC is going to do with those picks. Actually, I don't think it was the 12th pick that they got. Was the Toppage pick the Clippers pick? I don't think that was the Clippers pick, was it? No.
I don't think so, but
the 2024 pick, regardless. But if it was Toppage, hopefully he'll turn into the next Josh Giddey. If that's the case,
I'm about to be on the Clippers side. J-Dub, more like lame dub.
Just play down the picks.
Yeah,
I'm sorry I lagged out. What the hell did I miss?
Nah, talking about the picks and everything like that. Is J-Dub even good?
Oh,
nah. It was a business play, as we were ultimately saying. I do want to I think I actually do want to go to the next portion of it. Well, no, we'll save that portion for last, but I do want to tap into Paul George and the grind that I think that he may potentially be running from. Because again, I think we talked about it on the podcast. His words post-season were very much interesting me. I thought they were strange.
About it was, we started the year off rolling. We started the year off hot. Everybody was playing well. There was the energy there that it was kind of like first time like of us all being healthy with Russ now. Like it was like the emergence of what it's like being with Russ now, with myself healthy, Kawhi healthy, and Russ full time here. So it was kind of like a fresh start of what we thought could work. And then we traded to get James, and it's not James' fault of why I think we struggled, but right. I think the lost part of that was that we lost Rocco, we lost Nico.
Right.
Those was our glue guys. Like that was our defenders. And we play small, so they had the length to help us play small.
Right.
So again, it had nothing to do with losing or grabbing James. It was more so losing those guys, KJ Martin as well. Like that was our energy, our young legs. So I think that's kind of where, you get to late in the year and, we just weren't as good as we could have been. I think losing those guys kind of hurt us. You know what I mean? Because like Rocco was huge for us. Nico was huge for us. They would go get rebounds. They would block shots. They would, rotate. They were defensive guys. So you plug those guys around myself, Kawhi, Russ, like, they did a lot of the dirty work. And now you grab James, who's a super talented offensively.
Exactly.
Now myself, Kawhi, like we become the dirty guys, and now we have to score too. And it was just, I think a lot that we were trying to balance and manage at that point. But again, had nothing to do with James. James, I thought was awesome for us.
Just the lack of accountability is just
it also
crazy.
Sounds like hoopla to me, because I ain't gonna lie, he's like, he doesn't want to go on down the limb that he blames James Harden, but he like clearly blames James Harden, because I mean, whether it's from
it's not James.
Yeah, I'm about to say from like whether it's a straight up James Harden you suck perspective, or it's James you really nuked our team perspective. He clearly thinks that was a bad move. I don't know why he's trying to tap around it outside of well, let me take that back. I know exactly why he's tapping around it, but I understand that they needed a point guard, but yeah, he's definitely it definitely was a weird move. So I'll give Paul George that. However, when we're talking about him running from the grind, he old. So on one hand, I want to give him benefit of the doubt. On the other hand, he does not want to be responsible for multiple things. He does not want to be a first option anymore. I think that's very obvious. He does not want to be the guy that has to do the dirty plays, get the boards, while also giving 20 points and playing defense, things like that. And if that is going to be the reason he doesn't win a championship, that's on him. But he clearly does not want to do that. The question is, should he be justified in doing such? I ain't gonna lie, making a max. I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie. All I heard him do was blame James Harden for why they failed. I know he was sitting there. Anytime somebody got a preference their statements in the middle of their statement 12 times, I'm not saying it's James. I'm just saying the James Harden move.
James.
I'm not blaming James. I'm just saying because we got James, we had to give up for getting James. We gave up defense, energy, 5 guys I liked, guys that made my job easier.
James. Not James.
It's not James.
Not James.
James is and this is what got me when he stuttered. He's a superstar of a talent,
offensive guy.
It's not James. It's just we lost Nico, who was a great defender, and Rocco, who can shoot and defend,
and
KJ Martin. And KJ Martin, who was a young guy off the bench with good young legs, who we could have used late in the year that we didn't have because James is there and we got hurt. It was just James, but it's not James. Like, all right, buddy, you're blaming James Harden.
Then he follows that up by saying, "Now I got to do that stuff." And again, it's not James.
Now me and Kawhi do the work, guys, and we got to score all the points. It's not James, though. It's
not James. He offensive guy, but we got to score the points.
Mind you, one of y'all could probably just not score and just do the dirty work stuff. I want to read Paul George, that 6 games that the Mavericks played him. 19.5 points, which would be down from the 23 points in the regular season, so 20 to 23. Average 2.3 turnovers, 1.2 steals, 5 assists, 7 boards. Shot 41% from the field and 37% from the free throw line. I mean, for the 3-point line. I mean, I can hear what he's. I don't know. Like somebody said in a tweet, we just saw Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum on any given night say, you know what, I'm gonna be the rebounding guy, you scoring. I'm gonna be the guy that's taking on the hardest defensive matchup. You gonna score the ball tonight. Paul George just didn't want to do that, man. Just didn't. It's not you. It's not you.
Yeah, Paul, I'm sorry, bro. I mean, and maybe it's just too little too late in his career, because I could envision like a 24-year-old, especially a pre-injury Paul George, not saying that's the best version of him, but taking on all these responsibilities. So maybe it's just a decade too late and he ain't got it no more. But
that's why I'd rather have Jimmy Butler.
Damn. Well, damn. That was a fun conversation that got very much out of context, by the way. I seen those comments very much out of context. But yeah, overall, Jimmy Butler is a better player for those people that didn't get what we were trying to say. But I mean, I will say this though. I guess if we're gonna tackle this segment, we tackle it, or if we're not, we're not. I think that he kind of has it made out in Philly. He can be just the guy that plays defense or to be just the guy that scores. I think they have enough scoring. I think the one issue is you went to another injury-prone superstar, and you might be doing the same thing that happened in LA. But outside of that, if they're healthy, which then yeah, I feel like I think that's safer for him because he doesn't have to do the dirty work. That would be Embiid.
Let me tee it up for you, Damo. Let me tee it up for you. I got you. So with that being said, Sage is right. He does go out to Philly. We haven't talked about them and their prospects. Tyrese Maxey signed a 5-year, $204 million contract. Tobias Harris is gone. He went to Detroit. He signed a 2-year. Let me tell you who's on Philly's roster for next year. Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, Paul Reed, Ricky Council IV, and Paul George.
I thought they got Kelly.
Kelly Oubre. Yeah, they brought back Kelly Oubre. So
Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre as well. And let me remind you, Joel Embiid played, drumroll please, 39 games last season. Now, Damo, Paul George, in that same podcast interview, talked about injuries and how they affected the overall team, how he didn't like Stephen A. talking about this, that, and that. He talked about injuries and how that affected them. But in that same podcast before, he traded Kawhi for Joel. Damo.
He traded James Harden for Tyrese Maxey.
Hey man.
He traded the red, white, and blue for red, white, and blue. I don't know.
It's for blue, red, and white. It's for blue, red, and white over there. That's what it really is.
Listen, when you're talking about the logistics and everything that makes sense about this deal, none of it makes sense because he just traded one situation for the exact same thing on the opposite coast. You're dealing with the exact same issues. The difference is now there is no actual James Harden. And now they have the potential to go out there and bring back Nicholas Batum for 1 year before he retires. And bring back Rocco for 1 year before he retires. Now they can go and get all those dirty work guys. You're going to have a team of dirty work guys. Nothing but dirty work going on. And pray that Embiid breaks the curse of being injured because if he goes down, then Paul, you know what? I know why he did this. Yeah. It just occurred to me. I just had this revelation in my mind. He went to the Sixers because when Joel goes down, it's not his job to be the number 2. It's Tyrese's job. Maxey will be the new number 1, and he can step up and be a number 2. That was the issue in LA. He came over to be the number 2. Kawhi keep going down, and niggas is looking at him like, hey, Paul, what we doing? He got sick of it. And even when James Harden got there, because again, this ain't about James, and James is a phenomenal offensive superstar. When Kawhi went down, the conversation was not, all right, James, what we gonna do? No, it was still, hey, Paul, what we gonna do? It's the expectations.
Yes,
he is running from the grind.
Oh my
he wants to compete. He wants to compete. He wants to contend, but he wants to contend on his terms, which is he wants the grind, he wants to fight, but he don't want the expectations of being the best player in this grind or fight. He realized once he came in third in MVP vote and playing with Russ, I can get all the benefits of being a star without any of the expectations. And if I can find that, I am in perfect limbo. Because you realize after that season, there were, all right, well, if you're a top 3 MVP candidate, you're obviously on a level that we didn't think you were on. Expectations. And ever since then, what have we been seeing? Playoff P. So if he goes to a situation where the expectations is not what he didn't go there to be a number 2. He went there and said, if Tobias Harris can get away with this, I can be better than Tobias Harris.
Oh my god.
That's what it is.
Man.
He went to Philly to be better than Tobias Harris.
So
That's why Maxey got paid immediately afterwards. Maxey is getting number 2 money now. Joel Embiid is the MVP. I can just come in here, be the forward that takes shots, play a little bit of defense, and we good. Now, the moment Joel goes down, hey, Maxey, step up. I'm gonna step up behind you.
I'm Paul Harris. I'm Paul Bynes Harris.
My god. Yo,
Like,
this is why I said he has it made if they're healthy. I'm not gonna act like it's that different from the Clippers, but the reason why I said he has it made, kind of what you're saying, but like a little bit more so than that. Joel's better than Kawhi anyway. Maxey's better than Harden anyway, and he will truly be the third option regardless. So we agree there. I think he's running a little bit, but I think it's also okay. He's 34, man. And that's why I like for me, I was fine with him because I never was on this oh yeah, Paul George is this unbelievable world beater guy. I definitely think he's a great player, but I never thought of him as like a lot of people think prime PG was. I very quickly brought up the playoffs. But for example, like I brought up Indy as a perfect situation. I probably still would prefer him there, but hey, if he wants to go to Philly, he can go to Philly. But it's in 4K. I've been talking about Paul George going to Indiana would be perfect for him. If he wants to reduce his role while also still being clearly the number 2, that's definitely going to go on to Indiana. And you don't have to worry about this crazy injury history. I know Max Halliburton's resume ain't perfect, but he definitely is less injury prone than Joel and Kawhi combined, to be honest.
Too much expectations in Indy, man. He goes to Indy.
My God.
He goes to Indy. He's the best scorer. He's probably the best offensive player. And we see what happened in the playoffs. Hallie out here, he refusing to shoot. He looking for somebody to score. And if Siakam missing, what he gonna do? Turn a Nimbard? What he gonna? Paul George gonna be like, hey Nim, hey,
it would
step
be
back
so
3.
good with Paul
Nim,
George.
step back 3. Step back 3.
Mind you, all it would look like is Toronto in that championship series. Pascal Siakam will be like, "Yo, man, I need you to be quiet tonight." Him, oh hell no, yeah, fucked up.
Hit me out of here.
Kawhi, some nights.
No,
Kawhi on the Spurs, maybe.
Oh,
Spurs, Kawhi. That's what we want to be. I want to be Kawhi. Oh, y'all want me to play more defense?
Paul
No,
George, you did. I don't hate what you did, Paul. They acting like you 25,
I don't hate what you
27.
did
I don't hate
either.
what you did,
I just
Paul, man.
no. I don't hate what
But
you
I
did
do
either.
think he don't want to
I
be number
just-
1. I give y'all that.
Be real about it. Just be real about it.
I can just read between the lines. I just don't like.
Yeah.
I don't like the politically correct trying to appease everybody answers. Like, just be real. Hey, man, I'm 34. My body is breaking down.
I shoot that ball.
I don't want the responsibility. Just say that. Don't give me 17. I mean, it's not James. Don't give me 17 of those. Just tell me what it is. Hey, man, I want a lesser role on a contending team. That's fine.
Last question before we get out of here. With this move, where do you put him in the East? For me, I still gotta wait. Only because they don't have a team.
Yeah, I was gonna say, unfortunately, they literally have 7 players. And 3 of the players, respect to them, they're young, unproven players, or I literally don't care about them. So for the most part, I trust Kelly PG as the 2 and the 3. I love Maxey at the 1. I love Embiid at the 5. I need to see what that power forward is gonna be. And then I think they just straight up don't have a bench outside of like Ricky Council and who. So they still got Paul Reed.
Yeah, they got Paul Reed. I mean.
Okay, so yeah, I mean that's a solid 5. Yeah, I definitely need to see what that bench looks like.
They got Drummond.
They got Drummond still.
Yeah, they. I think they re-signed him. Yeah. I
Oh
think he signed.
shit. Okay, all right. Yeah, so that's a solid team.
You don't say that like, hold on now, top 2.
Drummond?
No.
Drummond get boards. So it's like, no, let me stop. I didn't know they had him still. I don't know why, but kept thinking Chicago. For me, I don't know if I want to put them over the Knicks. I know I didn't get my take on the Knicks. So in 5 words, Knicks are fantastic. Just need a big. But I think that they're definitely top 3. Easy top 3. That's probably the layup take to make. I still don't think they beat Boston because they're injury prone.
Damo, where you got them?
I mean, with this move, they're easily a top 4. Do I have them above the Knicks?
That's literally where I'm debating.
No.
Or do I have them above the Knicks?
I said probably not, though. I said probably not. Knicks
You know
are
what?
big,
You know what?
though.
I'm gonna play it safe. They're third. They're behind the Knicks. It goes Celtics, Knicks, Sixers. I gotta see how they fill out the rest of their roster. It's like right here with them and the Knicks for number 2. Like number 2 is battling. I gotta see how they finish out their rosters because the Knicks don't got Hartenstein back.
Exactly.
And I don't know if they're still about to move Mitch or if they're gonna keep Mitch. So there's questions with them. Free agency isn't over. Trades aren't over. We're it's not a done deal yet. So depending on how the rest of these rosters pan out, they could be 2. But as of right now, if you're telling me what the Knicks have versus the East Coast Clippers, I'm going with the Knicks.